When I was 19, it was a year after I left high school, I'd been out drinking with some mates one night. It was about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, left the group that I was with, got to the train station, no trains come, so I jumped down on the tracks and started walking. I got about 100 metres down the tracks and a train had terminated, stopped for the night on a separate line. So I started throwing rocks at it, trying to smash the windows. One of the rocks that I threw, it actually rebounded back and hit me on the side of the head. It hit me that hard, it fractured my skull and knocked me out. Next thing I remember is waking up in hospital on a life support, and then I've tried to breathe, but I couldn't breathe because I had tubes stuck down my throat and up my nose, and well, I actually found out afterwards that I was run over by a train. If a train driver comes around the corner and they see someone on the tracks, they hit the emergency brakes, there's no way in the world the driver can stop the train in time. You know, I'd lost my right arm above the elbow, my right leg below the knee. My middle and index fingers had been amputated as a result of my choice. "10, 15 seconds worth of fun, it's not worth a lifetime of punishment." People say to me, they go, "Why'd you walk on the train tracks for?" And I say, that was a choice I made when I was 19. You know, my action impacted a lot of innocent people, and I've got no idea how I impacted the train driver's working life, his family life. I've got no idea if he suffered with nightmares or if every time he drives over that same piece of train track it re-triggers that thought. I've got no idea how I impacted his life. You've got the guard, the train driver radioed through to the guard and said, "I think I just ran over someone, can you go back and check?" The guard had to get down on the tracks, go 200 metres down the tracks and see what was left, you know, see the mess that was left.
TrackSafe was launched in March last year. It came really out of greater desire to do more to help train drivers and other rail employees impacted by fatalities on the network, be it from reckless behaviour or suicide. For every 10 years a train driver's driving, they would have one fatality. So if you look at train drivers that have been driving for 30 or 40 years, that's 3 to 4. I've heard it said quite often the lot will recover on their own and be resilient, but there'll be some that will suffer post-traumatic stress, which is why we've developed or are developing what we're developing, so that they more readily access the support without the stigma. And there'll be ones that can never return to work as well.
Working through the emotional consequences is something that you go through for the rest of your life. I remember I was in the kitchen one day while I was in the lounge room, Mum was in the kitchen and I had my leg off and I was sitting on the lounge and we were talking and Mum was washing up and she was laughing and smiling, and then just for a brief second, like, she's turned around, she's looked at me and her whole face dropped. And I said, "What's up, Mum?" I said, "Did you forget how I look?" She said, "Yeah." So just for that, you know, we're talking and laughing and, you know, having a good time, and just for those few brief minutes she forgot. And it's devastating for parents. The emotional things, the emotional consequences, everything that you go through lives with you forever. The best way that I've found to cope with it is to talk about it.
Yes, of course, and talking therapy, of course, is not just the dialogue, it's the negotiation of, you know, recovery goals, recovery aspects, and empowering the person, and that it means improving steadily over time the quality of their life. So that's essentially what talking therapy can entail. You know, the process of recovery is a very long one, and of course it varies from person to person.
Rehabilitation in hospital, I spent 3 months in hospital, and learning to use a prosthetic leg, it's like walking on razor blades. You can't support your weight on the bottom of the stump, you have to support your weight where weight's never been supported before, like on the kneecap, a bit of pressure around the side and a bit of pressure down the bottom. And at the time when I first started learning to walk, I could walk for about 2 minutes a day and that was it. I was in tears, I was in so much pain. I couldn't use my body as a tool anymore, so I couldn't go out and do physical labour, so I had to use my voice. Going around talking to young people about risk. We all believe this sort of stuff won't happen to us. But every single day that I wake up, I have to look at this. You know, this is my leg. You know, this is my arm. There's my fingers. This is how I'm going to look every single day of my life for the rest of my life. And people have the nerve to come up and call me stupid. You know, they don't wake up with this. I wake up with this. Of course I know that I was stupid. Of course I made the mistake. But I own my behaviour. I accept responsibility for my actions.
The next train to arrive on platform 2 goes to City Circle. First stop, Redfern, then Central, Town Hall, Wynyard, Circular Quay, St James and Museum.